Technology changes the whole way a person lives, and I'm here to change people's life, and that's what I do. So what we are trying to do is we are providing global lifestyle. A particular type of world will come to that, which is divided because of religion, because of nationalities, and because of gender. You don't have to fly your flag. People love British people, but they hate British flag. What I do is that I work in a particular part of the world, which is I call eye to eye, which is Ivory Coast to Indonesia. So it includes Africa, it includes Middle East, it includes Indian subcontinent, it includes Asia, and these countries have 3.5 billion people, and that's the people I serve. And I see the difference between this and the developed part, which is the rest of the world, is technology. So I try to bring technology as the equalizer. So in simply put, I look for new technologies, and I enter the technology when it's at a disruptive stage. It is a stage where it is going to replace the old technology. And as I move and that technology gets older, I also get out of that business. So I get it and get out of business, hopefully at the right time. So my whole life I've been in technology, initially on office automation. So I brought a lot of first in copiers, fax in my part of the world. And then I got into this mobile space, so mobile service and all that. And now I am getting into smart life phase, where everything will be on a smart device. So these are the phases which I go through. I think the biggest issue is when you bring new technologies, the customer, to acquire customer is a big challenge, because people work on old technologies, the old habits. So I am working with the youth segment, I work with the women segment, because these are, I think, people who are adopt to change. And traditional people, male above 35, more difficult to change. So I have to work with the youth, because the youth is the one who are looking for new technology. But the problem with youth is that they have not so much money. So they want new technology, but they have limited money. And for that, I have to bring the products at comparatively cheaper price to give them technology at a right price. So I work with people who accept change and identify those segments. And then I go to them. It requires a lot of marketing effort. It requires brand building. It requires confidence building. And it requires a lot of teaching and understanding what this technology can do to them in terms of changing their lifestyle or the way they work in office. So technology changes the whole way a person lives. And I'm here to change people's life. And that's what I do. Actually, human beings are all very hardworking, very productive. So I feel, irrespective of where people live, they have a same potential. The difference is the tools they have in their hands. So if they don't have technologies in hand and somebody has technology in his hand, then they are at a disadvantage. It's like mobile internet. So somebody has a smartphone, he has apps on his phone. So he is very much linked with the world. And somebody who does not have a mobile phone or has a mobile phone without apps or just for voice, then he is not connected. So his knowledge base is less. He works with a lot of disadvantage, which affects his productivity, which affects his earning power. And I think that's where I think the technology, if it's given, the same guy can do the same work. So people are same all over. The God or the Almighty or whatever you call him has created everybody equally. When a baby is born, there's no difference whether he's born in US, UK, and there's not even difference between whether he's a boy or a girl. He doesn't even know his sex at the time of his birth or her sex. But what we do is train him or give him certain understanding about life, which determine his future. And I think technology helps him to empower himself rather than getting other people to listen. He can himself research, he can himself know what is going, himself can find his own friends group and make his own opinions rather than opinions given by his parents or given by his school teachers or his college things. So I think the best thing, the best empowerment is when person can decide on his own what he wants to do, and that is equalizer. Because if he does what his passion is and what he wants to do, he will do best in the world. What we are trying to do is we are providing global lifestyle. So whatever products I bring in, they are the global state-of-art product. And they affect the man's life, right from healthcare to education to entertainment to connectivity in finance, banking. So these are all lifestyle. Industry is there to serve people. And naturally the people lifestyle keep changing with technology. And that's why they are all linked. So I'm in a lifestyle industry in a way. I'm in a consumer industry. I'm not making products which are much for industrial use. I don't make basic material. My father used to do that. I moved away from that. I do things which are wanting by people, which they consume. So my products are brand related. They are not commodities. So that's the major difference. I think the next big revolution is the internet-based revolution, and it's the mobile internet without wire. So what's happening is that you get movies as you move, so you're entertained as you move. You can educate yourself from wherever you live. You don't have to go to universities. You are going to get healthcare on devices connected with your doctors. You will get your banking sitting at home, your shopping sitting at home. And when I say home, it's not actually home. You can do it as you move. So what is going to happen is the world is going to get very mobile. At present, of the total 7 billion population of the world, only 10 to 15% travel. What's going to happen in future is more than 20 to 30% people will travel and will not live where they are born. So more and more immigrations have to be opened up, like it used to be in the past. If you look at back when people used to travel by sea, it's always people who travel are more dynamic, and people who remain stagnant is sometimes get left behind. So I think we have to make this world more open. That's why we have created Global Citizen Forum. We are saying that borders should be opened up, like in Europe. People should be allowed to travel and settle wherever they like. You don't require visas anymore. Everything is on internet. So a personal life is a very open life in today's world. So the government's job is much easier because they have it all there. And you don't need to, restrict people's movement on the guise of security. There's only one issue about this voting. I think that is also going off because people are realizing that they can live anywhere, and the government job will be more not to provide security as such, but to provide what I call the infrastructure and certain rules, which has to be global again, because different countries have different rules. I lived in different countries. Every country has a different rule. Why should there be different rules when the technology is same, people are same? So I think the biggest reform I see is going to be in governments and politicians. They are more and more recognizing that they have to become one, as human beings are becoming one, as technology is becoming one, as the world is becoming one. So this is the new change which is going to come. And as business people, as people who look at social behavior, as people who understand what's going to be happening, because my job as chairman is to work 10 years, against what's going to happen. So I don't work on what is next tomorrow. I have to plan next 10 years, next 20 years. And I can see this change coming. And I think Europe is a good example of it, but it will happen world over. The technology is changing. So today all energy base is based on minerals, oil, things like that. We have solar power, we have wind power, we have various kinds of energy. There are tremendous work done in China by a company called BYD in the solar field, where they take solar energy into a battery, and then the battery drives the cars, buses, everything. So what's happening is that technology changed things. Nature has provided everything in abundance. So there is no energy shortage. Even one particle, one atom has so much energy. So, but atomic energy, people got afraid because of it was misused or whatever it happened. Some people try to control it. But look at France, 70% of the energy comes atomic. So energy is not going to be a barrier. The barrier is always this mind, human mind, who do not let people, get new technologies in. New technology coming in is always harm somebody. So it's always that you have other sides who don't want it. But I think they can't stop it. It's like a wave. It's like a movement. When the movement starts, the wave starts, the wind starts, nobody can stop it. So now people say the guys who go with the flow are the winners. So there's a saying that be with the flow. China, I've been visiting for 20 years. One thing in China I notice that there's a huge women and youth power in China. In China, because of this one-child policy they started some time back, the youth is irrespective of boy or girl, does not make a difference. So the woman has played a very big role. So they have actually doubled their manpower. They already have a large manpower, but because they have effectively used the woman power and woman brain, so that is a very plus factor for China. The second big plus factor of China is that China is a country which does not have too many, egos of their own. They are pure business people. They want to produce 50% of the world production. They keep very simple policies. They are not so much on these rights, that. They say everybody is equal. So they are not under this American jargon of controlling technology, intellectual property right. Some people only should live a different life. These are good, these are bad, these are rich, these are poor. So it's a country which has been built on humanity. That country has now, people are recognizing, because the output which is coming from this community is so huge and so good that people are now saying, oh, there is a Chinese model for everything. Even politicians are now looking at a Chinese model. Chinese model of agriculture, Chinese model of industry, Chinese model of productivity, Chinese model of business management, and they have moved much better than the revolution which Japan brought. The Japanese tried to follow America to some extent, but China is on their own. They have developed their own, way. And I think that's what India is also trying to do. India is trying to do its own way. So there is the American way, which is adopted by the developed world. Then there's Chinese way, and then there's an Indian way. The American way is more rightist, which is there. The Chinese way is more leftist, and Indian way is more middle path. So all three, ways are now being adopted. The models are working, and all three model works because of the population and because of the, speed with which they grow. I think Chinese model is the fastest speed because it works on a basis of discipline, and plus it allows now technology to be used and a very large manufacturing base. They have a simple formula: we will produce 50% of the world production for everything. Now that, it's a simple vision, but that vision talks a lot, because that vision means how much you need to do in terms of building it up, and they're doing it. And I've seen it happening for the last 20 years. And I've seen how Chinese companies have established themselves as initially a price barrier, they cut, and naturally as a quality company. So they are producing quality product at a low cost and very consumer oriented. I feel that more than philanthropy, what you need is a right vision. People don't like to be helped, they have to be given chance. So in 97 I started, 2000 we did a big summit where we started talking of one God, and we were working with religious and spiritual leaders. And that movement was quite successful, but it was to an extent which is there because only religious people. Now from 2013 we have started what we call a vision of one world. And there has been on one side a lot of saying that 2012 the world will come to an end. There was a movie also in 2012. On the other side they are saying the world will not come to the end. A particular type of world will come to the end, which is divided because of religion, because of nationalities, and because of gender. Once you remove the gender, nationalities, and the religion from that factor, we are all global citizens. We are conscious human beings. So this movement which we are talking, and we are calling it a movement, is that you are first a global citizen. Once you recognize that we have something in common, because if you say I'm a British, I say I'm a Singaporean, somebody say I'm Chinese, then we have differentiated ourselves. And you may say I follow this religion, you follow this religion, this is man, this is woman. So these are differentiators in society. Once you go and say, I am a global citizen, I am a global human being, you have removed the differences. Once you have removed the differences, understanding can be reached. You cannot reach understanding. People say the bird of same kind flock together. But we are all the birds of same kind. Though anybody who is living on earth, all human beings. We don't say fish are of different kinds. We call fish, fish. As such, human beings are human beings. We are all birds of same kind. We try to differentiate between us. And that differentiation has to go off, and is going off with the help of technology. Things like, Facebook, which has now more than 1 billion people on it. So people are more relating to their friends, and in friends they don't see difference. In blood relation, in relatives, they see difference. So we are moving to a friendly society, a global society, and our idea through Global Citizen Forum is to make people aware of that you are a global citizen. You should say I am a global citizen. If somebody asks you who you are, people fumble. Now people say, I come from this country, I am living in this country. They give 3-4 lines. You don't have to say all that. You just say I am a global citizen. And that is a very enough introduction. And that will tell people that who you are and what you think and how you see the world and what is your vision of the world. So I think that's the movement which we started. We started 2013, and we have already moved it to various countries, and the amount of people who relate to it is amazing. Because everybody says, yeah, I'm a global citizen. It's not a conflict with anybody. And then you can say, some people are saying, no, I'm a British citizen. I go with the British flag. But how many global British are there? How many British people are living world over? So they are all global. You don't have to fly your flag. People love British people, but they hate British flag. We had an event in Shenzhen with BYD and ourselves, Spice Group. And whenever we have the event, we try to find what are the main issue, what is the local issue which affects the global youth of that country. So in China, there is a rule that from China to Hong Kong, you can't go. You require a visa. And with that visa, it's difficult to get. And we found a lot of youth who said, look, we would like to go and spend some time in Hong Kong. You have a developed city, global city next to you, and you can't go there. It's very silly. It doesn't make any sense. It's half an hour away. So we checked the other laws. They said, no, Hong Kong, people will rush. This will happen, that will happen. So we checked, like between Singapore and Malaysia, you can go freely. Between Singapore and Indonesia, you can go freely. For 30 days, you don't require a visa. So when we discussed this, that a lot of young people attended, they like this idea that they should be allowed freely to go to, at least to Hong Kong. Because everybody in the world, especially young people, want to see how people in global city lives. So people from smaller cities want to go to global cities. Now if you cannot go there, so that was the main thing came out of it. The UN people in Hong Kong were very supportive. Which was a surprise to people from Shenzhen, because they thought the Hong Kong people don't want us. They said, we'd love to have you, because you want to come for dinner, you want to come for lunch. You can't go there. It's like, people from Uxbridge cannot come to London. It's such a silly notion. So there are such rules which are there. We had a similar problem in Singapore. There's a rule in Singapore that till 35 years of age, a boy or girl, if he's not married, he has to stay with his parents. Now people are saying we earn money at 22, 25. Why should we stay with our parents? And because of that, what's happening in Singapore is that people are not getting married. Because to get married, once you don't have your pad or your flat, is not easy. Where do you date? You can't just go to hotels all the time. So Singapore fertility rate has dropped. So Singapore government is finding why can't people produce more in Singapore? And they have this silly rule. Till 35 live with your parents. Now in Western world, if you talk somebody in London, till 35 you have to live with your parents, you will say what the silly rule it is. Even 21 is more. So we said at least bring it to 25, make it reasonable, so that people can find their mates, they can be with their friends, and hopefully marry, and have child if they want at the right age. So there are these silly rules. In London also there is a silly rule. In London there is a rule that if you are living in London, normally you can live till 180 days, no issue. That you are not taxed in London. But in 4 years, if you live in London more than 360 days, that means 90 days and an average, then you are taxed in London. Now in a year, there are 104 holidays, Saturday, Sunday. Then there are 30 more holidays. So there are 134 holidays. And you can't be in London for more than 90 days. Even if you are working outside. Now, all the other countries allow 180 days. Now, London has this silly rule, which has formed by somebody. So we are meeting the parliamentarians today to tell them that this is hurting London. It is not allowing people from London or other people to work outside and bring money to London. It is making London more unemployment in London. Otherwise, London people who knows British language, which is well accepted, English language world over, they will be welcome with open arm to work anywhere in the world. But they don't go out because they say, what is the advantage? So, there are certain rules which have been made, I think, at a wrong time. They are not reviewed and nobody is talking about it. So GCF is bringing in the knowledge of the government, these are the rules, and compare them with USA. USA 180 days, Singapore 180 days, Indonesia 180 days, Europe countries 180 days, London 90 days. Does it make any sense? It puts people at disadvantage. Then they are saying that certain rules have to be common. So on one side, tax rules have to be common, these things have to be common, and on the other side, where there is a benefit, you don't give benefit. So that's also part of GCF, to bring to the knowledge a equalizing factor towards law. So what is technology? The second is the legal system. But nobody likes to break the system. But you must make the just laws so that a person have similar laws or similar advantage or disadvantage than other countries. You know, I have studied religions, I have studied leaders. Buddha was the first global person because he did not follow God. He sort of not denied nor accepted the existence of God. He said that's irrelevant, whether God is there or not there. The whole world today, whatever religion you talk, whether it's Hindu, whether it's Christianity, Islam, everybody talks in God. And because they talk of God, they have God-men who tell them what God wants. And that's why in the name of God, a lot of things are done in the world. So Buddha took out the God out. That's why he was known as a person who was for non-violence. He did not believe, he was a person of compassion because he thought we are all one. So I find in Buddha the philosophy which can unite the world, which can bring the world together. It is a philosophy which I am wanting to tell for many years. And I think now we got production already started. And on 8th of September, it is going on Indian TV. And within 3 months, it will be all over the world, including in China and Europe and other places in the world. So we are bringing it in many languages. And we are telling a story of a person who, through his own inner search, was able to find the answer about interconnectivity and all, which is very relevant for today's time. We are living in a Facebook era. We are living in a post-Google era. So people say there are after AD, there is also after Google, AG. So there is also a new era worldwide, which is the internet area, connected area. In that connected area, this God factor has to be underplayed. So what happens is the biggest issue is God. The biggest issue is national flags. The biggest issue is, you are a man, I'm a woman. You are a woman, I'm a man. So I know better, you know less, or the other way around. So these are basic issues which does not have any position in a world after 2013. With 2012, these things should die, and from 2013, a new era should begin.